Do you ever think to yourself, why can't I make friends? I feel like no one likes me. And I've realized that as an adult, it's way harder than it was back in school. If you have just recently come to the realization that you have no friends, or if it's something you felt your whole life, this video is for you. Not having friends can make anyone feel cursed, like people have made up their mind about you before you even meet. It can drain your self-esteem and confidence, which makes it even harder to feel motivated to socialize. My hope is that after watching this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of why you don't have friends, and a game plan for how to, over time, develop your friend-making skills, even if it has felt like a hopeless endeavor up to this point. To learn what you can do if you don't have any friends, I'll start by identifying common reasons why some people have no friends. Being socially inexperienced, not having social interests, recently having moved, split up with a partner, or changed a job, not having time to socialize, etc. Some people simply aren't into socializing. They don't enjoy small talk or parties. Others don't even like people. Some suffer from social anxiety, shyness, Asperger's, autism spectrum syndrome, physical disabilities or disorders such as bipolar disorder or depression. Others have experienced mental trauma or have been let down or betrayed in the past. Life circumstances such as living in a rural area, moving a lot, or having your friends moving or having families. Do you have friends but have recently realized that you can't count on them? Do you meet people on a regular basis but can't seem to form a connection with them? Do you technically have friends but feel like they don't know you or understand you? Or are you currently not having any type of social interaction? All these factors play a role in how to deal with having no friends. Know that it's completely normal to not have friends. It's not weird and it's even common. 1 in 5 people have no close friends. Imagine that every 5th person you meet on your next walk has no close friends. Visualizing this can help us feel less weird and alien. You're never alone feeling lonely. Know that there are many people who feel just like you. Others yet have been lonely but have been able to make close friends. It's likely that you can too. Not having friends can mean many different things. Sometimes we try to protect ourselves from a harsh reality by thinking that it's not as bad as it seems. Other times, it feels like the situation is way worse than it really is. By getting a realistic view of your situation, you're more likely to succeed at improving. Sometimes we act in ways that make people actively dislike us. Perhaps we're too self-focused, too negative, or are too clingy. However, sometimes it can feel like people don't like us even when they do. If someone is busy and can't meet up, we may think it's because they don't like us. If someone doesn't use smileys in their message, we might think they are annoyed with us, even when they aren't. Do you think I worry about what people think of me? I'm afraid I come off as awkward or weird, and if someone doesn't talk to me as much, I assume they don't like me. Sometimes we can ignore evidence of people appreciating us. We get an invitation to a party, but we think it's out of pity. Sometimes people say nice things to us, but we feel that they're just being polite, etc. To figure out if people really don't like you, look at the evidence for and against. Can you find examples throughout your life where people seemed to like you? Good, perhaps you are more likable than you think. In this case, the true cause of not feeling liked may be low self-esteem. On the other hand, if you find several clear examples of the opposite, such as several people pointing out something they don't like about you, that's good too. If you feel like you can't make friends, see if you can find evidence of the opposite. Have there been situations where you have made friends? If you can find examples of this, you can feel confident that the statement isn't true. Perhaps there are other reasons for you not having friends. For example, it may feel like you can't make friends, when in reality, you just don't meet enough people on a daily basis. If you, on the other hand, come to the conclusion that you've seldom or never made friends, you want to focus your energy on your friend-making skills. Perhaps you hang out with a group of people regularly in a group, but never with anyone one-on-one. Or you have friends that you can go out with and have fun with, but you never talk about anything personal or important. Common reasons for having friends but not having close friends are not opening up and sharing about yourself. Because for two people to see each other as close friends, they need to know things about each other. If you don't open up about yourself, your friend won't feel comfortable opening up about them. You don't need to talk about something overly sensitive or something that may embarrass you. Just sharing your thoughts and feelings about things that happen is a good start. Sometimes we feel uncomfortable if a conversation gets too personal and we change the subject or make jokes. It can help to stay in that personal conversation. Usually, this is where we get to know each other. In summary, we tend to make close friends when we, over time, get more and more personal in what we talk about with someone. Think about if you really have no friends, or if the reality is more complex. Could your situation be any of the following? You have always been alone and never had any friends. You have had friends previously in life, but don't currently have friends. If this is you, it could be that your life situation has changed. Perhaps you moved to a new city, or your friends have moved. You do make new friends with relative ease, but they seem to tire after a while, or that you can't count on them. You have friends you can count on, but you still feel alone or like they don't understand you. If this is you, you might not yet have found like-minded friends. Feeling this way can also be a symptom of depression or some other mental health disorder. Often, there are underlying reasons for not having friends. Sometimes, these issues are so important that they need most of our focus. Other times, you can work on these issues. 30 to 50% of people in the world are introverts. Some almost always prefer solitude over socializing. However, those who prefer solitude can still feel lonely. If you're an introvert, you probably don't enjoy seemingly meaningless social interaction. While extroverts can get energized by socializing, introverts usually have to spend energy to socialize. While extroverts can enjoy high energy, introverts tend to enjoy one-on-one conversations more. It can help to seek out places where you are likely to meet other introverts. For example, reading or writing meetups, volunteering, workshops and classes. These places tend to be less loud or energetic. Sometimes we mistake anxiety or shyness for introversion. We may say that we don't want to socialize because we're introverts, when in reality, it's because we suffer from social anxiety. You may think, I'm quiet and shy, but I also feel so much anxiety when I'm in a group of people. I feel like I know I'm not going to make any friends or good conversations, so I just shut down. I can't control any of that. Shyness, being awkward, or having social anxiety disorder can make it hard to socialize. Yet, the only way to find friends is to meet people, and to be able to do that, you need to find ways to manage your shyness or social anxiety. In some cases, the feeling of loneliness is a symptom of depression. In this case, it's important that you talk to a professional such as a therapist. Having Asperger's can make it harder to read social cues or understand others' intent. The good news is that many with Asperger's are able to learn these cues and become just as good at socializing as anyone else. Extreme mood swings or periods of mania, followed by periods of depression, can be a sign of bipolar disorder. It's common to withdraw during the depressive periods, which can hurt your friendships, but the manic periods can also hurt your friendships. Perhaps you do or say things you otherwise wouldn't have. For some with bipolar disorder, it can be impossible to stop talking. For others, it can be manageable with techniques. Also, practicing relaxing and listening when you are making conversation can help. Bipolar disorder can be improved with therapy and medication. It's important to go to a psychiatrist who can give you the proper treatment. There are many other mental disorders or physical disabilities that can make it harder to make or keep friends. This includes panic attacks, social phobia, agoraphobia, schizophrenia, using a wheelchair, being blind, deaf, etc. Socializing with any type of disorder can be disheartening. People may have incorrect assumptions or make judgments. Here are some things you can do. If you can, seek counseling or therapy from qualified medical professionals. If your condition is stigmatized in the general population, it can feel easier to socialize with others who have a similar condition to yours. If you have a physical disability, check out your local municipal groups or charities that can make mobility easier. Find interest groups for people in your situation online, or seek out one of the thousands of subreddits on Reddit. Focus on groups that meet up recurringly. It's easier to form bonds with people you see on a regular basis. The more time you spend socializing, the better you'll get at it. Perhaps you simply haven't had enough social training because you've preferred to be by yourself or for reasons haven't socialized much. While social skills can feel like something you have to be born with, it's not more complex than, say, learning to play the guitar. The more hours you put in, the better you'll get at it. If you can relate to not having enough social experience, put yourself in situations where you get to meet people, such as going to meetups related to your interests, volunteering or take a class, saying yes to invitations and opportunities that come up. It's usually never very fun to do something we don't feel good at. However, it becomes more enjoyable when you notice that your skills improve. This means that you at first will have to push yourself to meet people even when you don't feel like it. You might have thoughts like, what's the point? I still won't be able to make any friends if I go. But remind yourself that every hour you spend socializing is an hour closer to becoming a socially skilled person. Socially skilled persons tend to have an easier time making friends. When playing the guitar, you learn faster if you study the theory alongside your live practice. The same goes for socializing. Make sure to study social skills. Sometimes it's just easier to defer and listen than to jump in and make a statement that you may not be 100% confident in. Groups can be intimidating. If this is you, remember it's better to say something than nothing at all. People need to get to know you and see that you're friendly and interesting. Say something, even if you don't know it will be interesting enough. It probably isn't that bad. In fact, it's not really important what you say, but that you show you want to participate in a conversation and that you're interested in what others say. Try letting yourself feel the emotions of fear and uncertainty in social situations, and don't try to push it away with angry or defensive thoughts. This can help you respond more rationally and avoid damaging your social life. Meeting people through your interests is an effective way to make friends. You'll automatically meet like-minded people while doing what you like. If you currently don't have any social interests, you're missing out on one of the easiest ways to meet new people that can turn into friends. Not everyone has a passion or hobby that they live for. The good news is that you can use any type of activity that you enjoy doing to meet new people. The most effective way to build up a social circle from scratch is to actively take the initiative to socialize. This can feel new if you have previously tapped into a social circle with less effort, such as through work, college, or a partner. If you're about to meet with a new friends, invite others who you think would be a good fit. If you study, join extracurricular activities. If you work, join social groups and go to the afterworks. Remind yourself of times you've made friends in the past. This can help you see that your current situation is likely to improve, even if you feel lonely right now. Know that it takes time to build a social circle from scratch. Continue taking initiative even if you don't see immediate results. It's common for people to feel lonely after moving. Moving to a new city both robs you of your old social circle and puts you in an unknown environment. Know that you're not alone feeling lonely. For many, work is the main venue for socializing, and we often meet our colleagues more than our spouse or outside of work friends. Because of this, it's completely normal to feel lonely if you lose your old colleagues. You can use this to your advantage, however. There are usually many others who are also looking for friends. However, you need to be proactive to find these people. Don't forget that you can still keep in touch with your old colleagues even if you don't work together anymore. There's nothing stopping you from continuing to join their afterworks. Let them know that you still want to keep in touch and ask them to let you know when they are up for something. Take the initiative by inviting them over for dinner or drinks. Know that it's normal that it takes time to make new friends at a new job. Most people have their existing friend groups that they already feel comfortable in, and you are new and unknown. When your colleagues prefer to hang out with each other rather than you, it doesn't mean that they don't like you, just that being with their existing friends is less uncomfortable. If you are warm, friendly, and take them up on their invitations, you will be accepted with time. At work, friendship is something that slowly happens when we spend enough time together. So if you lose your job and don't automatically meet people on a regular basis, you'll have to be more proactive. If you recently lost your job or moved to a new one, you can choose to see losing your job as a blessing in disguise. Rather than making friends with whoever happened to work at your job, you now have the opportunity and time to seek out and interact with people who you vibe even better with or who share your specific types of interests. Losing one's job can be a shock. If you recently lost your job, know that your situation will feel better a few weeks or months from now. You might feel lonelier right now than you actually are. There might be several reasons for not having friends at work. However, in certain situations, you might work remotely, have very few colleagues, or just not have anything in common with them. In this situation, it's extra important to look at friends outside of work. And for students, know that it's common to not have any friends during your first 6 months in college. Many have to start building their social circle from scratch. It usually takes around 50 hours of interaction to make a casual friend and more than twice as long to make a good friend. In other words, If you interact with someone 30 minutes per day, it might take at least 200 days for you to consider each other to be friends. Here's what you can do to speed up this process. Become an active member of a student organization or club. Participate actively in your online class discussion forums. Take the initiative. Invite people to lunch, study, or play a sport. Talk in class and make plans to do things afterward. In college, we meet like-minded people on a daily basis. After college, socializing suddenly takes a very different shape. Unless you want to limit your social life to your job or partner, you have to actively seek out like-minded people. The upside of living in a rural area is that it's often more intimate. Usually, everyone knows everyone, while a city can be more anonymous. However, if you don't get along with people around you, it can suddenly be much harder to find like-minded people than in a big city. If you want to be more involved and meet more people, it's usually a good idea to join local groups, boards, or to help neighbors out whenever needed. Doing this gives you an automatic social circle. If you don't click with those who live in your area, and this makes you feel lonely and isolated, you can consider moving to a bigger city. While this can sound intimidating, it has the upside that you can more easily seek out people who are more like you. People who make less money often feel more lonely. Not having any money can make it harder to socialize. It can also feel embarrassing and make the idea of socializing sound less appealing. In addition to that, it can cause stress that makes it hard to focus on having a social life. If this is you, choose a picnic in a park over drinks in a bar, or cooking at home over going to a restaurant. Hiking, playing video games, or watching movies at home can be a relatively cheap way to socialize. If you go to a bar, go for a Coke instead of drinks. If you are busy with work or studies, you might simply not have the time to socialize. See if you can study or work together with other co-workers or students. Remind yourself that a few hours of socializing a week can give you important breaks that in the end will help you be more productive. Sometimes our brain can make up an excuse that we don't have time to meet people when in reality we do. The real reason we don't socialize could be that we feel uncomfortable doing it or feel like it won't be fruitful. If you can relate to this, make a conscious decision to prioritize socializing occasionally, even if you don't feel like it. If you don't find socializing fruitful, polish up on your social skills. That can help you build relationships more effectively. If your friendship only consists of one person, you might be overly dependent on that person, and conflicts or problems in a relationships can be worse to go through if you have no one else to interact with. You risk suffocating your partner. They may need you to be able to talk out your troubles with others, so they aren't your only outlet. When you become their one and only true friend, life can get overwhelming fast for both of you. If you break up with your significant other, you might have to start your friend circle from scratch. To prevent this, seek out a wider circle of friends. It can be hard to suddenly have to make new friends again if you previously had a friend circle through your partner. Research shows that men especially have fickle social circles that are based more on activities than emotional bonding. However, it's also common for women to lose their social circle if they lose their partner. On top of this, reaching out to others tends to be especially hard if you are heartbroken or sad. It can be a good idea to push yourself to socialize and meet new people even if you don't feel like it. A cornerstone of making friends is to dare to take initiatives. However, fear of rejection can keep us from taking initiative. That's why it's such a common reason for not making friends. It's especially common to fear rejection if you've been rejected in the past. If you have texted people and asked if they want to meet up and you don't get a response, it's completely normal to not want to risk experiencing the same thing again. Throughout your journey, you will polish up on your social skills, and perhaps you are already better today than you were back when you got rejected last time. The more you work on your social skills, the more likely you are to connect with others. This makes you less likely to experience rejection again. You can also change the way you look at rejection. Rejection might feel like a failure to you, but in reality, it's a sign of success. It's proof that you've been brave enough to take the initiative. The only way to never be rejected is to never take any chances in life. Everyone experiences rejection. Socially successful people have learned not to be afraid of it. With this new mindset, work on your social skills and at the same time, practice taking more initiative to meeting people and keeping in touch with them. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll enjoy my other video essays. Thank you for watching. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel to support me in my journey. My name is Sai, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.